Luckily, you got it though.
Yeah, we have a good relationship. Honestly, not without the bumps in the road, but we got a good relationship.
How long did it take to you, like, for your dad to get adjusted to it, or like from like when you started to like you being like
Yeah.
partners? Is it partners or is it?
Yeah, we're partners. We're partners now. So I've probably been involved. I got really involved like my last year of chiropractic school when we're kind of like out of classes, mostly like clinicals. We're in clinic doing that stuff. So I was treating patients down there as well as kind of working on the business at the same time. So that was what, probably early 2019. Then like in that year, I was then treating patients like as like my clinical internship, like in private practice rotation, and that's really where I was like getting involved.
And that was all up here in the high desert, or?
Yeah. So I was going to school in Whittier.
Okay.
That's where the chiropractic school is.
Then you had to drive every day?
No, I stayed down there.
Okay.
I had buddies. We had roommates, and then they ended up coming up. So I was like a year ahead of all of them, and then so like yeah, your last year. So I was kind of like, as weird as it is, the mentor of the group. Then after when they were doing their rotation, I was already up here full time. They would come up here a couple days a week, like two days a week. They would carpool up, treat patients, right? Mm-hmm. Then go back down to school. And that's like when I was doing that, my last year is when I started getting involved, like kind of like really getting involved in the business side. And that was 2019.
How many offices did you guys have? Your dad have up here?
At that time, we had just opened up. So like in 2019, I think we had opened up the second office, which was Barstow, and I was kind of like, I would say, hey, my dad had two offices when I came on board, and it was like I remember kind of starting that second office, getting that going. He took over for a guy that retired. Okay. He took over his practice, and that kind of is what spurred that first satellite in Barstow.
Dang.
Yeah, and then after that, when I came on board, I remember like the pandemic, so like 2020 when like everything shut down, like I was graduating at that time. And that's when they were like, my school wasn't like allowing me to treat anymore. So I was only working on the business. So that was like the big turn where it was like, okay, because I wasn't able to treat. Like they weren't covering me to treat anymore because I didn't have my license yet, but I was under the school. Then it shut it all down and I was solely working on like the business. And that's really what that was like what spurred it. And I was learning all this stuff. You know, 'cause my dad had done it for at that time, but like 20 something years, 22 years at that point. So I was learning a bunch. And then from there is when I was like, hey, why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? And that's what kind of spurred it all. So going back to your question, we were saying like, when did it all start? Probably like beginning of 2020, like when they like shut down, locked down everything.
What do you like doing more, like the back end stuff, the business, or like being in the front?
Oh yeah. I business all day. And I'll tell patients that. Patients know that. Everybody knows that. The office, all the staff, all the girls, they all know. My pops knows that, everybody. Because that's initially what I was going to do. When I was in college, like I was playing baseball, and my major was business. I was just, going to school, playing ball. Like playing ball was the biggest thing. And then when I stopped playing baseball, I was like, all right. Like me and my brother had our business in college. I was doing that. I was like, I'm gonna just graduate, get my degree, and like be an entrepreneur. And then like about my junior year, I was like, well, shoot. I was like, that's when I stopped playing baseball, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I can do entrepreneurship or business or whatever without a piece of paper, right? You could be a high school graduate, do that. Then I was like, okay, but I can't do anything else like chiropractic or anything that would require a degree without it. So that's when I was like, okay, I'll go do my chiropractic, and then I can still do everything else, real estate, all these businesses on the side.
Oh, so you're into real estate?
Oh yeah.
Up here?
Oh yeah.
Well,
only up here. That's all I can afford.
Is your own brokerage or?
No, I'm just an investor. Well, actually, I have my real estate license, but I only use it. Like I'll only use it for like friends or like my own deals that I buy.
Because I hear a lot of people like, where now that I'm running my own business, my YouTube like recommendations are a lot different now than what I used to have. There's like just more like, oh yeah, the LLCs are C corps, and this is how to do it. This is how to do taxes. And it's like, it's crazy, like the more, I wouldn't say the older you get, just like the different situations that you put yourself in. Yeah. Then you start, or like the social media.
That's what my algorithm's all about too.
So
taxes, real estate, business.
And I actually like it. At first it was boring, like I don't really need to know that, I'm just making content. And now I'm like, I have to know it, and then now it's speaking to me, but where before it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of people like you can funnel I wouldn't say wash like your money, but like run it through like real estate. Like that's the best place to just like
Oh yeah.
put
Yeah.
your money in. So what's the purpose, to not get taxed on that, or?
I think all of it. I think all of it. I'll give you an example. Everything in here, because this is an ADU on a property that I rent out. Everything in here, this couch, everything, all the decor, everything. It's all a furnishing for my Airbnbs. So I rent out all of my rooms. I rent all of my houses out by the room. So I've got like 22 doors now, essentially, like 22 units. So I could have 22 individual tenants. I rent them all out by the room. For example, like one person there, one person there. Most of them are like private units, but yeah, I mean, everything is like,
That's crazy.
yeah. Because my goal here is with this is once I have a family and whatnot, like I'm not going to live in this garage. It's 2-bedroom, 1-bath garage, or two garage. I'm going to go get a house, and this is going to be an Airbnb. So everything in here is going to be, or everything already is, like, yeah. So
these rooms are like on Airbnb, or
these ones aren't. No, I live here. But
Okay.
But the main house, yeah, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Right now I have 2 people in. Like this one's new. Like I'm just starting this one up. Like I've only furnished 2 of them, but one's a studio where it has a private entrance, and then one's the master bedroom. Right now those 2 are rented out, and then the 2 bedrooms that would share bath, I haven't even done anything with them. I was just telling him like I got to start getting those furnished up.
what's the first house you bought that like
First
you started
house?
realizing it? Like,
First
or
house?
when you learned it, then
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna put it on this house.
Well, first house I bought was right at I guess I was in college. I bought with my brother because we had our business, and that's what allowed me to purchase that.
So it was under the business name?
No, it was under our name. We
Okay.
were joint tenants in it, me and my brother. I was actually seller financed. The owner carried most of the note, came down with I think it was like a $30,000 down payment. They carried the note, and that was my first house. We ended up long-term renting that at the time, but now it's an Airbnb or a rent out by the room, essentially. 3-bed, 3-bath. Each person has their own bathroom. Yeah. Traveling nurses or any like.
How much do you need to start off like and to get into that, like real estate? Because
Dude,
I hear people say like, well, you don't need anyone. It's you're borrowing other people's money.
Dude, you got to know people to do that. You know,
Okay.
you got to know. I mean, they're not wrong, but that's like, I feel like that's a clickbaity title. You can do it. You can do it. Don't get me wrong. I bought a Miami house. This house right here. It's a big old house. I bought it during like the pandemic when interest rates were like nothing, right? I bought it. I bought it as a owner occupant. So I lived in there. I moved into there, right? It's a 7-bedroom. Well, now it's a 7-bedroom, 7-bath. I think it's 8-bedroom, 7-bath house. It's huge, over by the golf course. And
Oh, I heard Miami. Is
oh,
that the
yeah,
street?
it's the street name.
Oh, okay.
Everybody does
I
that.
know you're Miami.
We just call it the Miami house.
Okay.
Dude, huge house. And I was able to grab it for, at the time, I think it was like $450. But I was owner occupied, FHA loan, 3.5% down. I was able to get a seller credit. It had been sitting on the market forever. So I was able to get a seller credit for $15,000. I was able to buy so seller credit, meaning that's coming down on, I'm using that towards my down payment. I was able to get that house, I think all in like $7,000 out of pocket. And payment on it's like $2,400, and it's got 7 bedrooms, and I rent them all out, and it does well. It does well.
That's crazy.
But I think you need money. You need money. But for example, I had to qualify for a loan for that house. So you have to have money. You have to have a job. You have to have
A credit,
income, right, to show that you can do that. The people that say, "Oh, you don't need any money down," they're just getting big, probably high interest loans. Yeah, you can do a property. Like, shoot, I'll give anybody money if 15%. You know, you don't have to use any of your own money, but you're using my money, and it's costing you. If there's room in the deal, then it makes sense. But that's, I think, the low money down, no money down stuff.
Are like the housing, like the interest or the housing market, is it going down? Because I've been seeing a lot of memes like when like now that the housing marketing is down, like just a lot of memes of talking about that, and I'm like, I never really pay attention to it until I seen it.
I wish it would. I wish it would go down.
So it's just like clickbait then on that.
It's been stagnant. I'd say it's been pretty like level, just because interest rates have gone up like crazy, and that means affordability comes down a lot. Meaning, for example, like, I mean, without getting too much into it, like that Miami house that I bought, right now, that house, like a $450,000 house right now, I mean, interest rates are hovering around 6.5 right now, 6.5%, and that's even down from where they were, probably like 7%. It's like that house is $1,500 more per month just because you're borrowing all that money to pay for it. So, and two, and like inventory's down. Nobody's selling their houses. Why? They've all got interest rates at 2.5%, 3.5%. Yeah. You're not getting rid of those for a 6.5, 7.5% interest rate.
What do you think the goal is for all that, like the economy? Like,
for what, people that own the house?
Well, I mean, just like overall, like for America, like what's the goal for all this? Like why continue to have it so high and like wages so low for people to...
It's tough. I don't know.
Just to pick your brain about it. I don't need...
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to like go into politics.
No. I mean, it's tough right now. I mean, shoot, I haven't bought a house in over a year now. It's like, it's unattainable right now. You just can't make it work, honestly. Just because the interest rates are so high and prices didn't come down at all. Because there's no inventory. Because nobody's selling. Because everybody's holding on to it. Because real estate goes up. Because they want to have generational wealth. It's like, it's a catch-22. Like, I don't know. Everyone's saying they're waiting for the housing market to drop. I don't know that it's ever going to happen. I just don't think, I don't see it coming down.
Yeah, because I also see other realtors like trying to educate you, like, you want it to drop, but if you buy it now, next year it's going to be double. So like this is the lowest you're going to get it. So they're probably
the realtor buy now. I've never heard a realtor say, "Hey, wait to buy." Wait to buy. It's always buy now.
True.
I'll tell you right now, don't buy now.
Okay.
Interest rates are trending down. Inventory is about to trend up. That's a recipe for a good thing for the homeowner. Affordability is at an all-time low right now. Nobody can afford a home. It doesn't make sense. Something's got to give.
Yeah. You have like all the wages going up, like for McDonald's, and you normally see it's a good thing, but now I see like the fast food places that never really had people outside like getting the orders or like are doing it now, and it's like, well, because if we're gonna pay you more, now we're gonna create like little micro jobs for you to do. Like, okay, now go out there and take orders now, and or go out there and I don't know, do something.
I think it's good. It's just, I don't know if it's the answer necessarily, because then everything just gets more expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, the businesses have to pay more. Why? Because it becomes law, right? The businesses have to make money. So if the businesses aren't making money, they're either raising their prices or they're laying off employees. So either way, it's like, that's great. I mean, let's pay everybody $50 an hour. Everything's going to be that much more expensive. So it's super complex. I'm not educated enough to weigh in on that. That's for dang sure.
Going back to like the real estate, like what about, or for you renting out stuff, do you get any like squatters, and how do you handle that?
I've had a few not fun experiences, but mainly it's been with like long-term renters. So I was just talking with my brother and my dad last night. We have a house together, and it's coming up to be vacant right now, and we're like, hey, what do we want to do? Do we want to rent it out long-term? Like, do we want to do this? And it's like, I'm always against long-term, just because I've had some nightmare stories. Like I had a house that I ended up selling because I got the renters out of there because they weren't squatting. They just like, hey, they fell on hard times, weren't making payments, and I was like, hey, it's okay, just like get out, let me get the house back. I got it back. They weren't supposed to have dogs. They weren't supposed to have pets. Dude, they had like 4 cats. There was like cat pee on the drywall all the way up. I had to like, it ended up being like a big old remodel. So I just remodeled the whole house and just sold it. But that was one of the ones that kind of tipped me over to like, hey, rent out by the room.
Dang. Yeah. In California, they favor more like the squatters, right?
Tenants, yeah.
Or
They're
tenants.
definitely tenant friendly. That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure.
That's pretty cool. And well, so like, you don't plan to like make content about that, like real estate, or you don't really care?
I'm so bad at making content, dude.
Really?
You're the one who forced me to do this, and I'm glad you did. I got a lot to say. I just can't.
No, I get it. Do you ever teach him like any real estate stuff, or do you ever?
Oh yeah, dude.
Does that interest you?
Yeah. He's been my right hand for a minute, man. Dude, this guy. We could talk a whole hour on this guy.
That's awesome.
Come a long way, man.
It's good to surround yourself like.
He just got a job at Edison.
I know that's what he was saying.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was like, true, that's
Dude,
pretty
20
cool.
years old.
Also, Edison is hard to get into.
I've been trying for over a year and a half.
Yeah, you did say that, and I was just like, I don't know, that's probably like the waiting list. But I guess I didn't even register. Like, if there's a waiting list, then that means it's hard to get into.
Yeah. I mean, they're really stable employer and good employer.
Yeah, it was my third interview, and then I just got blessed on it.
That's good. And it's up here too, and you said Oak Hill, so
Dude, so,
like
yeah, I
perfect.
got so lucky.
I put in the work, but definitely a blessing.
well, that's good. Like you're around him because I try to like now I'm learning to like associate with, you know, people like having these conversations instead of
Right.
you know, just like random conversations. Usually it's with your family, like what the Kim Kardashians are doing or
Yeah.
like TV shows. And it's like, when I hear that, it's like, why? That's not really important. Like, I know it's like to have a conversation, but
To an extent, right, dude? Oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
like, to my family, I'm like the one who's like always like go, 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 go. And even this, like, I was talking, like, I'm like, this year, I'm like, I need to just chill a little bit. Like, I'm
Yeah.
always like, I'm like too much go.
so yeah, then there's like the alternative where it's like on the other side where it's like, oh, that's Ethan and Andrew. That's all they ever talk about.
Right,
and
right,
it's like,
right,
it's
right.
true because if we're not talking about marketing and social media with me, it's like I have nothing to say. I'm that person now where it's like, because
You're so
you
niched
master
down,
that
yeah.
skill and you surround yourself so you can get better at it. But now it's like when you're around your family, it's like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
is-
it's bad. When
cool.
I go to my parents' house, dude, like, we'll talk for hours and hours. And it's just like, I'm even telling them, like, all right, I gotta go. But then I'm like, oh, wait, but this. Oh, this happened today. Hey, what do you think? We should do this. I'm like, I gotta chill.
Well, how do you balance that then? How do you balance like learning? Do people
I'm
have to
working
tell
on
you?
it.
Do people have to tell you or like?
No, I tell myself.
Okay.
But, I mean, I know it's a lot, but that's what I'm working on this year. Balance. I was
That's
talking with my
your-
buddy that I was at his wedding. I was telling him, like, dude, like, not take my foot off the gas, but just like enjoy the ride a little more. I think. And yeah, it's just like, I think not take everything so seriously. I think before it was just like, does this make sense? Like I'm just like now I'm like, all right,
That's your like resolution for this year.
kinda, yeah.
Do you even do those or no?
I don't do true resolutions. I do like, hey, this is kind of where I want to go. Yeah, yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
like
true,
goals.
that-
I do goals for sure.
Do you have that like on like a vision board or just like do you have a 5-year plan or 10-year?
My buddy just texted me. They were having an event this Saturday, vision board thing, like
That's
a vision board
dope.
planning. Yeah,
I remember you had said that. Was it last year that you
Yeah.
had? I believe you invited me last
Yeah,
year. And
yeah.
You said that you were gonna do it, and I was like, "That's pretty cool." Like that's when I knew. I'm like, okay, he's one of the people that like, I need to just surround myself with. Like
this Saturday, man. If you want to go,
'cause
I'm not busy.
Saturday. What am I doing Saturday?
Don't commit now. Check your
I know.
stuff.
I'm like, my wife's the one.
Yeah,
That
yeah. I know that. I asked my brother. I'm like, hey, you want to do this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, hold on, wait. Ask your wife.
Yeah, and it's not even a disrespecting. It's like
No, it's like, yeah.
It's not like 'cause she has your balls. It's more like it's a respect. Like okay,
Yeah, you
I
guys
don't
are-
want to make plans and then you're screwed that you have to
Right.
watch the kids and.
My dad's the worst at that. My dad's like, yeah, I'll be there. And then my mom's like, well, you have this, and she's like, oh,
Yeah, that's usually my dad and other people's dads where they're like, yeah, we're good. And then like the wives are always like, but
That's
it's
why I
probably
never
that
commit.
old, I wouldn't say old school mentality, but like the old way of thinking where it's like, I'm the man, I do what I want. And then
Yeah.
the woman just does what I say.
yeah,
But like now I never really had an issue with that. It was just like growing up with my wife, it's like, I respect whatever she wants to do or at
Right,
least
right,
have
right.
good communication.
yeah. It's a mutual thing. It's not like I say what we do. It's a mutual respect. Yeah.
Like just because they're staying together doesn't mean like that like they're the happiest. It's like they're probably the miserable, like most miserable. I'm not speaking about anybody, just being broad.
No, dude, I know exactly what you're saying. I lived with my parents for a long time.
And it's like, okay, even though they're still married and still together, but like, do you want to be that miserable? No, maybe have more communication, have better. Why am I hitting?
No, it's funny.
All right. Okay.
You're spot on. I was just talking with my buddy about this too. It's like, I think that's very common.
Okay. So for me, like, I just started doing goals too, like I never really was the goal planner. I always had it where it's like, well, it's a free for all for me, and then I got here, like I'm gonna continue to grow. But it's like, you only got here because of like how like you were the wild card and you were everywhere. It's like if you want to get to like the next level, like you have to be more organized with your time and like your goals.
Dude.
So that's why I've been, this year is just like, taking more accountability with everything, and instead of blaming others or handling everything with anger, just accept it and like, okay, there's a reason why this happened, because either I was lazy on it, or I didn't have good communication, or not blaming me, but it's like, okay,
you're taking
like,
accountability. Yep.
Accountability, taking a step back, like, okay, what really happened, instead of like the end result, like, oh, that person really did that, really?
Yeah, rather than being reactive. Yep.
So I'm trying to do that this year.
Good.
But a goal for me too is just having goals in general. I did have a vision board.
Yeah.
For 2022 was like being the best of the high desert, like the best marketer in the high desert.
Nice.
Like have a 6-pack. I have a picture of like everything. I just like crop cutted it.
Yeah.
Like get a truck, have vacation with my family, and I'd say like 60% of it I got done. And I was like, shit, this actually works.
Yeah.
It's so crazy where like just having it and then just like now seeing it every day, it's like, all right, cool.
You're right. It's funny how goals change over the year, like throughout the year. Like I set some goals for like this last year. I mean, like I want to do like a certain type of real estate deal. I didn't end up doing that type of deal, but it's like my focus changed a little bit. Like, I mean, you can only do so much, right? Like, and my visions are split between the office, like building the business, and like, okay, my own kind of things like real estate, and even now this year, like my own, like kind of focusing on my own self and relationships with family, everybody, friends, It's just funny how things change. Like, at the beginning of the year, you can think one thing's going to happen, but then as life goes on, things change.
How do you balance like all that?
Poorly.
Office. You don't?
I said poorly. No.
Oh.
No, I do it. I in waves, man. In waves. Like, I'm like all. It's so funny. Like, if I'm like probably neglecting something else. Like, I'll be all in for the business for like a couple of hard weeks or a month or so, and then like shoot, okay, I gotta go here, like do this, like put out some fires to go here. Like, I wish I could do it. That's another thing I'm trying to do this year is like not half in, but like more like rather than super deep in one, more like okay, maintaining, spreading out, and that's what I think I attribute to. I don't know, like not chilling, but like. Not as intense, because I can get intense.
Yeah.
In whatever I do. So it's like, it's trying to be, kind of bring that back a little, just distribute my time better.
Yeah, I started, like baby steps was just like downloading Google Calendars on your phone.
Yeah, dude.
And then like just like the little stuff, like, hey, go to the grocery store, like, okay, let's plan it.
Yeah.
And then, hey,
Lists, for sure.
And even talking to people like, oh, let's put on the calendar, like let's meet up at a coffee or do something, and okay, let's like you build that habit.
That's on my
and
list
you
for
start
this
thinking
year.
like that.
Yeah, that's on my list for this year. Like, have scheduled meetups with friends, or even phone calls or texting, just to check in.
Yeah, because before it was just like a free for all. Like, okay, yeah, let's do it next week, and then goes by, and then the week, like 2 weeks later, it's like, didn't we have something last week? And then like, wow, we missed that opportunity, or
even
I
this.
messed up.
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of just being organized, just putting it down, I'd say for me, it's just more being lazy. Like, I'll remember, I won't forget.
Yo, dude, yeah. Now I have to write everything down, honestly. Well, even this, we were trying to get it going for a couple months. Finally, I was like, dude, let's set a date. Like, let me know. And like, sure enough, it worked.
Hey, congrats on the Best in the High Desert, too. I was watching
Thank
you.
Man. Yeah.
Like, were you there? No?
Kyle wasn't. It was me, my brother, and my brother's wife.
Yeah, man. It was pretty impressive where it was like, I don't know what the categories were, but chiropractor, acupuncture,
massage, yeah.
and massage, and then it was just Stine, and you're not even walking back to your chair yet, and it's just.
It was a good. That was my first time. My first time going. I know my dad's gone a couple times. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was good.
Yeah, you guys are dominating. I was surprised, like, oh shoot, man, you guys are really.
Yeah, it's good. Sometimes, like, I mean, sometimes that that will come and go, and we don't even like pay attention. This year we were kind of like, hey, like let's make a push. Told our patients whatnot. So it's like okay, and I think that's probably what we're gonna do from now on. Like sometimes it would come and go, and sometimes we would win. Sometimes we would like, oh shoot, like voting is closing tomorrow, and we haven't even said anything. But yeah, I think if we make a push, we can.
Like, what are the benefits of like earning one of those awards?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Probably nothing. It's a popularity contest, right? If you can get the most votes, like I mean, you can vote every day, right? So shoot, you could hire bots to do it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's just more of like a good networking event.
Oh, 100%. No. Don't get me wrong. I think it's beneficial to win, but like, what's it mean? I mean, even now, you get like people, like even if they're runners up, it's like, thanks for voting us best of the desert. Didn't necessarily win best of the desert, but it's like, you could still just use it as a hey, thanks for voting us best of the desert. Well, you voted us, but we didn't win.
Yeah, and you're not lying.
Yeah, you're not lying. That's what I'm saying. That's why what's winning it mean? Not really much.
Yeah, I think it's just more like the opportunity of getting everybody in that building.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time I ever seen that or like experienced something like that. And I was blown away like, damn, man, it's so crazy just like seeing, aside from like business owners, like everybody you can, for me, it was like, everyone is a client for me. It's a potential client.
Dude, that's what I was saying, yeah.
I wasn't thinking like that. It was just more like, I was thinking like that, but I didn't have that intention. Like, I need to start like closing people. It was just more like in shock, like, wow.
Well, that's a good a list, a clientele. Start, hey, I saw your votes. Dude, you sent me our vids, like, and
Yeah.
you weren't even there for us, right? But hey.
Yeah, I was with AC Plus.
Yeah.
With Matt. Did you ever meet Matt?
I don't think so.
I was trying to introduce you, and I know he was busy, and you were busy, and I was just like,
yeah.
It was also tension, not with anybody, but I felt like there was just tension, like a lot of ego there. I felt
Dude,
like,
that's why I've never been to one. I'm glad. I would hate to go and not win. That would not be fun.
I feel like there's a lot of ego there, like just trying to say hi to somebody, and it's like, what are you wearing? Who are you? Where are you from? They were asking me like, oh yeah, who are you filming for? What business? And I was like,
I tell you how you get rid of that. Just take care of take advantage of the open bar. That'll get rid of that quick. I was like,
yeah, I was thinking that, and I'm like, I'm here for my clients, so like I can't really do that. So I was just
I'm
trying
just
to
messing.
No, but sometimes clients are cool. Like, man, so what? Who cares? I'm like, all right, fine. Like, let's do it. I'm not trying to be like how would you say it? Like the cookie cutter person.
Yeah, straight edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you're working. You were working.
It was cool though. I enjoyed it. Definitely though, like it's an eye opening, and I'd love to join the next one. Hopefully,
dude.
Matt can invite me next time.
The best of the desert, like going and just let's say you're not with anybody. Like let's say, but you obviously get a ticket somehow, right? Like you get offered tickets, you buy a ticket. You go there, you make a video of it, and you record like everybody walking up. You could essentially have all the B-roll, and then just cut all the winners that go and getting their awards, and this is your video. Hey, here's your video from Best of the Desert. Bunch of B-roll, and then them winning their award. And you do that for every single category.
I was thinking, I still have the footage. I was thinking that in the moment, like, oh, hell yeah, I can get all this. And then, like, when I go home, I'm like, fuck, man, I got, like, usually when it comes to, like, if you don't edit, like, as soon as you're done filming it, a month goes by.
Oh, yeah, it's done.
A year goes by, and you don't even want to touch that footage. It sucks. But, like, it's just discipline of, like, now my turnaround has been, like, 24 hours or 48 hours. Like, even if it's a long video, like, I'm going to get it to you as fast as I can, because, like, I know if I hold on to this footage, then I'm not going to have that same passion of putting it together a week from now. And then that's if I get it to it in a week, because something comes up, and then a week turns into 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And then a month, and it's like, fuck, like
And it's gone now. It's past its shelf life.
And that's usually, and that's like that's on how would you say, like that's best case scenario. Like when I'm just doing a video because I want to. Worst case scenario was like when clients actually pay for it, and I messed up and like took that long.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like I gotta burn that habit and just like start all over and just be more disciplined on like
system.
Just make it make it mandatory. Like as soon as you're done filming, take care of your family when you go home, when the kids go to sleep, put the wife, everyone to bed.
Right.
like just stay up a little longer or wake up earlier.
Yeah, you got to have your.
And then knock that video out. So I've been like implementing that, and I feel a lot better. I also been reading Atomic Habits, and that's pretty good.
Nice. That's a good one. Yeah.
That one's really, really good. And Profit First. Profit First is like,
I haven't read that one.
it's pretty interesting. It's like, it's just teaching you like the old accounting ways of like sales minus expense equals profit, when it's like it should be the opposite way. You should think of like profit first, and then like the
Kind of work backwards from
yeah,
it.
you're working backwards pretty much. I haven't got into like, I just started like getting introduced by that concept, but I haven't really read past that part where it's like really, but I'm gonna get there, so it's, I can't really go more than what that, so I won't pretend.
Dude, your business model excites me, man. I think you could do, because you're good. You're good at what you do too. And dude, everybody needs content nowadays. That Best of the Desert, I think, dude, that could be crazy good idea. Right. I don't know why I'm stuck on that. Dude, you could make however many winners there are. You could make like a ton of different videos from that. What if that was just like your teaser, right? Like you have your B-roll footage. You only got to edit that once, and then you just cut all the winners into that footage, and you got hundreds of different videos, and you reach out to that business and you say, hey, here's this video I have of you. Throw a watermark on it, let them see it. Shoot, 3 month, sign up for 3 months of content. I'll give you this video for free. Or if you wanted just the video, $99. Dude, I don't know why I like that idea. But it's a lot of editing.
No, but I mean, it's definitely beneficial. I mean, I gave it to you because I knew the potential of it. I was like, yeah, here, like.
I still see you gave it to me, and I still haven't done anything with it.
Oh well, that's what usually happens. Is like I already know at the end of the day, like even if I give you this footage,
we were just
like,
talking about it too.
What time are you gonna like separate?
Now I got to post it.
Post it.
But I feel like the Best of the Desert ship has sailed. But I'll post it. Just
no, you should.
Thank you to my boy Andrew. I'm doing it. I do it.
And that's why I educate a lot of my clients, where it's like I tell them exactly what I'm doing, because I know even if like you don't hire me, you're not gonna get it done, because like you're focusing on your service or your job.
Dude,
like
so
marketing and filming and editing, like that's just each and every one of those things are like a full-time job.
Dude.
And just like you're never gonna have time to like you thinking about trying to like post it already is like stressful. And it's like I'd rather just not do it.
Dude, that was me. Like
so,
that's what I was telling you. That was we talked too. I was like, no, I think I'm gonna do it. You're like, okay. That never happened.
Yeah, man, but it's definitely like it's footage that you have. Eventually, you end up posting it later on, anyways, and it's like whether you post it now or later, it's still gonna. It's a post that people see.
Yeah, but I mean, there's obviously timing with it all too. But like, it's got shelf life. I feel like to a certain extent.
Yeah, that right there. It's not really like what's going on like around the world, where it's like, oh, this is relevant now. It's more like. It happened. It's not like the whole world knows, and it's like, oh, that was a year ago. Why are you doing that now?
Right.
You can still get away with it.
Right.
But yeah, that's the goal. I was just doing that. Editing is like a bottleneck for me. Like,
if you had, let's say, another client, or could you outsource some of it?
Yes, and that's where it's like where I have to think about, and that's what Roman had, like that mentality of like, we go close a deal. Now we send it off to the editor or send the videographer.
Yeah.
Just smart. It saves you time and it saves everyone else time, so everyone's not doing it.
You're able to scale a little bit.
You can scale so it's kind of hard for me to, now that I'm in his shoes, where it's like.
It's different, huh? You can see it from a different point of view.
Exactly, because he had to learn with me, like, okay, let Andrew do it. I have to trust Andrew to do it, get the video shot, edited, marketed. So now I'm in his shoes, where it's like, do I want to trust people that they can do exactly what I do?
Bro, if I could give you one piece of advice, delegate. Delegate quick. I was that. You could ask my dad, you can ask Kyle. That was me probably 2021. I would just do everything myself. And I was just like, dude, putting in long days. Once I started delegating, at first, yeah, you're like, it's tough. But somebody, I forget what quote, or if it's like somebody's like, if they can do it 80% as good as you, that's something that you can delegate. Delegate. Still, obviously, you're not going to just delegate and sit back. And that's what I think, that's what I'm always scared of, is like, all my
You get
employees,
comfortable?
well, not even get comfortable. I don't think I'll ever get comfortable. You can ask my dad, ask my, kind of like, I don't, that'll be tough for me. But what I'm always scared of is the outside perception of like, oh, he's not doing anything. Oh man, I wish that was the case, right? Or like, oh, like I'm over here doing all this and what is he doing? That's my biggest fear. And it's like, if you only knew, right? Like I come home and I'm still working. Like I'm last one in at the office and last one out. It's like, but going to what you're saying, it's like, I think delegating is important for growth. As soon as I started doing that, dude, we saw some significant difference in everything. You delegate, and you also and you reward good people that are investing in the business. It's like, because look at, we couldn't do what we do with just me, right? I couldn't treat everybody. I couldn't also run the business. I couldn't do the social media marketing. I couldn't do everything. It's like you have to delegate, but then also delegate and appreciate. Like you got to make sure that I want to make sure that people that are doing their job, they feel like they're valued. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. If you're delegating and they're not valued, it's like, forget this, I'm done. I would leave too, right?
Mm-hmm. And also too, like you bring in different doctors that you guys they didn't like practice under you guys. So it's like trusting them to still like represent Stine. Mm-hmm. And how did that go about? Like, did your dad did he have to learn that skill, or did he already have that from the previous person he got it from? Like learning to accept, like, okay, let's bring this doctor. I mean, not all of them are going to be like perfect. Like, of course, there's going to be some that you have to get rid of, but like,
that's the hardest thing. It's like you don't know until, the thing is like hire fast, fire faster.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're sounding like you're getting the information from Gary Vee, because I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I think that is like from Gary Vee,
actually. Hire fast and hire fast.
Yeah.
Hire fast and fire fast. He says that a lot.
Yeah, because you don't know, right? You can have the best interview processes, but you don't know until someone's actually doing it. But then if they're not doing it up to speed, and you've made it clear what your expectations are, and they're not meeting those expectations, just cut your losses, because it's not going to get better. Yeah. It very rarely gets better. But you don't know until you know. So, but to your point of like, hiring docs and letting them do a thing.
Can you create some video? Just like the behind the scenes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, but to what he was saying.
Yeah, if you can. Just do it a vertical if you can. I know I see how horizontal. I was like, oh, horizontal.
Cut it. No.
I know, it's just me.
Every doc's different, but the thing is, with chiropractic, that's good though. Every doc's different. We have kind of all of our doctors kind of practice very similar, but everyone's got their different touch, right? Like, oh, I like Dr. Ethan's adjustments here, but I'm not a big fan of Dr. Ethan, but I love Dr. Dearmer's adjustments, or I like Dr. Ryan's adjustments, So
you benefit.
Good. Oh yeah, it's real good. It's real good. You
benefit like from just like, well, I only go with him even though I prefer someone else, but he's the only person there, compared to like, I also like this person, and if I wanted to go switch with him because he has softer hands, like I have that option.
Right.
And
right. And that happens a ton at the office. Like they'll start with one doc, but let's say, for example, they'll start with me, and like maybe I'm not there one day, or they thought they scheduled with me, and they're scheduled with a different doc, and they're like, wow, okay, I really like this doc. I like this doc better than that. But they would never.
Do some doctors take it personal? Like that was my client.
I don't.
Is it common for that to be?
I don't think at our office. Probably from like office to office, like different offices, I would say probably they would take it personally. At our office, it's like the goal is, hey, get the patient better, right? It's like, because I mean the way we structure things, it doesn't matter which doctor sees which patient. Like that, at least how we done it, and I think, I don't know, I think it works for us. Maybe that's why there's no egos. If there was maybe incentives for those type of things, maybe it may be like, hey, that's my patient.
Yeah.
We never wanted that, so that's how we structure our things. But for the most part, I don't mind. If the patient's happier there, perfect.
Yeah. Well, and you and your dad are setting an example of like that. That's okay. It happens.
100%.
Instead of like you thinking the opposite. Now they start picking up that habit and have that environment.
Yeah. If someone's doing it better for that person, albeit like I don't take it personally. I'm not the best. You know. There's no ego there. I mean, I can speak for myself. I don't, and I think for the most part, we talk about it a lot of times. We joke about it too. Like, oh, they're seeing you now. Oh, nice. Okay. Like, there's no egos. I don't think.
Yeah, because there's unlimited clients.
It's true. Everybody's got some pain. Everybody got back pain. A lot of people do.
Yeah, I remember when you fixed our spine, I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
It was interesting because at first I was just seeing and hearing it like, is this really like are these people really
Yeah.
like, no, I wouldn't say in pain, but like
Right.
when you're adjusting, they're like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the videos like you see online are like, I think they're very dramatic. That's usually not the case, but chiropractic's weird. While we're on this topic, chiropractic's different, man. Like you get chiropractors, I mean, for the most part, they get a pretty bad rap. It's getting better, but they do it themselves. There's a lot of chiropractors that are, I would say, crazy. They're wacko. They're not in it for the right reason. They're not doing things. Our practice and how my dad's practiced for the last 30 years, it's based on pain. If you're in pain, come in. Let's get you out of that pain. Once you're out of that pain, just maintain it. Do whatever you do. Stretch, exercise. If it comes back, pop back in. It's not like, oh, I need to see you 27 times in 4 months and then, or 4 times a week. It's not like that. It's like, hey, let's get you out of pain. Let's get back. And I think that's what's allowed the business to do what the business is, because everybody knows that we do good work. We're not selling you a bill of goods. It's, if we're not helping you, don't come back. Like, it's not like one of those things. If you're not in pain, don't come back. Like, we're here to get you out of pain. And that's what allowed him to build the practice that he's built, by doing good work. I think a lot of chiropractors are like, oh, you have diabetes? Oh, well, let's just adjust you here. And no.
Do customers like see the difference of like, oh, well, are they shocked like, oh, I don't have to schedule multiple appointments because I used to have to do it over here?
We hear
Or
it a
that's
lot. We hear it a lot.
Also, they
They go like, oh, I went over there, and they said that I had severe degeneration, and that if I don't get adjusted, like I'm not gonna walk. I'm like, what? That's freaking crazy. We adjust them 3-4 times, and they're like, wow, I'm out of pain. I'm pain free. Like, perfect. Okay. Go a month, see how it does. If it comes back, pop back in. Like, that's literally our spiel for the most part. Within reason, right? If someone's in like a trauma-related incident, like,
Yeah.
they're in a car accident, that's a little different, right? But like, just like the run-of-the-mill, like, hey, something's not quite, that's not quite right. A couple adjustments on that thing, your body's pretty good at healing itself once you put it in position, right?
Yeah,
if
you're
you have a
not-
trauma, you have a sprain, strain, like that's going to take consecutive.
Yeah, you're not squeezing every penny out of them.
And that's what a lot of chiropractors do, and that's why a lot of chiropractors get a bad rap, and that's why chiropractors have a negative image, and then chiropractors want to pay their bills, so they say, oh, I got to adjust you more, and that's the thing. That's why a lot of chiropractors get a bad rap. It's gotten a heck of a lot better, though. It's gotten a heck of a lot better.
Why is that?
Because
Like for marketing?
no, they're
Or-
doing better work. Because we're research based. It's not like we're not treating you for things that we can't treat you for. We're treating musculoskeletal conditions versus treating.
Well, I mean, as far as like the education part, like you educating clients, because
It all depends on the chiropractor.
okay,
Because the chiropractor, if they're not in it for, if they're in it to pay their student loans off, or if they're in it to buy another boat, then you're not going to get the best. But
yeah.
if it's client based, if you're trying to get the client, or the patient out of pain, or the end goal for the patient, it's a little different.
damn. Going back to like you having a balance, how do you do that when you go on vacation and do all those trips? I say all those trips because when I first met you, you're like, oh yeah, bro, I think it was a Disneyland.
Do I travel that much?
Oh,
Never take a vacation.
This was the first time. This last week. Yeah.
I would say ever since he started.
'cause
Yeah.
when I first started talking to you, you were somewhere. I think Walt Disney, or you were
Okay.
somewhere.
Florida. Probably. We took my
Yeah,
nephew.
Yeah, that's when I first started talking to you.
Okay.
Like, and you're like, oh yeah, like let's hop on the phone, but I'm at Disneyland. And I was like, that's fine, man. You
I think
enjoy
I
it.
remember that. Yeah.
And then, like when I call you again, like, hey, what's up? Oh, or when I see you now, like on social media, you're in, was it Thailand?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, damn, this guy's traveling everywhere.
Dude, that was the first time in like I want to say like 4 years that I didn't. I mean, I opened my computer like a couple times, but like I was like itching to like get back into it, and I really didn't like. Usually, I'm getting calls from the office. I'm doing something every single day, with other than Sunday, right? But every other day, I'm doing something. That was the first time in like 4 years that I didn't really do anything with the business for like 2 whole weeks. It's pretty cool. It was like kind of the fruits of my labor for the last 4 years that it was able to be held down because of delegation, putting the right people in place, and making sure that they're good. It was eye opening. It was for sure eye opening.
That's good. Heck yeah. That's what I wanna. I mean, that's what everyone wants to be. But like when you hear it, it's like, okay, it's possible.
It's possible,
There's
man.
light at the end.
It's tough, and it's not that it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but
Yeah.
because it's always a work in progress, right? It's always a work in progress. My big thing, and you can ask my employees, you can ask my pops. It's like my biggest thing is I want to make sure that everybody that's there wants to be there, that they feel appreciated, that they feel like they are valuable, that they are doing something, not being exploited or taken advantage of. That's my biggest thing. And if they are, I tell them if you feel like that, I don't want that, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like that. I want this to be mutually beneficial. I want everybody to go here.
Shoot. What was I gonna say? I had it in my head. How do you go about, or like when you first started, how did you go about it? Like when employees would see you, or like see your dad more like in charge than you, or I don't know if you still have that problem now.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Outward facing, my dad's the face of the franchise, right? I think we were talking earlier. I'm the rat on the wheel. I'm the powerhouse, right? And my dad, if he was sitting right here, he'd say the exact same thing. It's not a diss thing, but we've strategically done that because he is Stine Chiropractic, right? That is his. This is what we're saying is like he started Stine Chiropractic back 1970 or 1997, and it's built it up to this. So we've always designed it that let everybody outward facing. It's Dr. Stine. For example, I'll be treating patients and they go, it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing what your dad has done with the place, from one little shop in Apple Valley to now these 4 locations. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. It's great. In the business, the back end, the employees, all that, they come to me. They know all that. So it's like they all come to me. My dad's like insulated from all of that. But it's just the way that we've done it. It's like I don't mind that. I want him to be the face. He deserves it all. Honestly,
Yeah.
he really does. But in like the logistics of all of it, oh yeah.
Okay, because every time I seen you guys, it was like together. You guys were both there. So I don't know, like.
Yeah, I'll kind of run the show, but I let him be the face of it.
Okay, because I'm not there all day, so I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Like who's where.
Like all those events, that's like, I mean, we work, it's like, I'm working to get those things done, but then like, hey, record Doc, have him talk about the video. Because he's been doing it for 27 years, right?
Yeah.
He's been doing that thing, but we've only been making videos about it for the last 2, So.
What's the goal for, for Stine? Like multiple buildings, or like, is it just to always expand, or like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What's the purpose for all that? Just so I know, because I have no idea, like.
Yeah,
the end goal for that.
I think the goal is to, build a business that is able to expand and honestly, my biggest thing, dude, it's like, it's weird, but like, I don't want this to sound weird, but it's like, for me, it's about the employees. Like I want my docs and my employees to have a good, enjoy coming to work every day. And whether that's, like, dude, we do a bunch of stuff like outside of work. Like like this year we're going to do like monthly, like we'll go bowling or we'll go to axe throwing, we'll do that. Like, so I think it's to build a community as well as, I don't want to say it's not to help patients. Don't get me wrong. That's just a byproduct of what we're doing. Like we're helping patients. That allows us to do what we're able to do. So it's like, I don't want to sound altruistic. The goal is to make money, right?
Yeah.
We're making money so that we can support our family, that we can have a good quality of life, so that I can go on vacation, that I can do this, so that I can retire and all that. Yeah, yep. But also too is I want my employees to have a good quality of life and be able to, enjoy their thing as well as help patients. So I guess
I feel like
all well rounded. So if whatever that means, and the more we can do that, if that means 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 locations, because I can only be one place at one time. I'm only going to be just in one office, right? But if we can utilize the name or whatever it is and do good work that we see that works, and we can do it 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, because I feel like you were gonna say like, well, it's hard. Like, the more you grow it, the harder it is to try to give that attention to each employee.
Oh yeah, it's way harder, but it's way easier if there's. It's gotten a lot easier these last 4 or 5 years because, and this is no disrespect to my dad or anything like that, but the way that things were doing is my dad would give literally the shirt off his back to these patients, and it's like, that's awesome, that's great, that needs to happen, yes, but he was doing it at his own demise, meaning he was treating patients and losing money. For example, there's this insurance company that we used to use, and he would adjust the patient, they would have a $10 copay, we were supposed to get $17 from the insurance, so total $27 for the adjustment. First of all, I don't know how you can make it work, but not only that, he didn't know for the longest time that we weren't getting paid from this insurance company. They just weren't paying because they said it wasn't necessary, that they were deeming it not necessary. So we would treat a bunch, and that was like 40% of the business. So we were losing thousands and thousands of dollars on these patients. And this is only as of 2019. I mean, patients, if they watch this, they'll know what I'm talking about. We stopped taking that insurance company, and overnight, it was the craziest thing, and so obviously,
was it scared to make that decision?
He
to
was
cut that
terrified,
insurance
100%. Yep. It took 6 months of convincing, of showing the numbers. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But why? Is because my dad had just developed. My dad and the other docs, Dr. Diermer, Dr. Cruz, have developed a relationship with these patients that they had treated for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They were about the patients, but it wasn't making sense. We were literally losing money. It doesn't make sense. Like, we couldn't keep doing it, but it was the attention was never focused on that. Not until I came in and said, "What are we doing?" I still have I like a nostalgia. I still have the spreadsheet of where I ran the numbers, and it shows like how much we were losing per month.
Wow,
it's pretty cool.
So when you first showed him, did he believe you, or was it just like, okay, I'll take care of it later?
He believed me.
Okay.
But he didn't want to believe me. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where he's like, I wish I didn't know. And I think that's for the longest time. That's why he did it for so long, is because he didn't want to know.
Damn.
But the silver lining in it all is we stopped taking that insurance company. We got tons of backlash. Patients were furious. That's what he was all afraid of. That's what Dr. D was afraid of. That's exactly what he's afraid of. But guess what? 75% of them still come. We don't accept that insurance anymore. They pay cash rates. But that's just a tribute to the work that they were doing is great work. And that's, dude, I could talk for days. I mean, I'm probably already am talking for days, but it's like, that's what it comes down to, is like, we know we're doing good work, but they weren't valuing the work that they were doing. Now we value the work that we do. And if someone doesn't value it, that's fine. That's okay. There's people that do. And that's what allows us to do what we do is, we have 41 employees. Like, we have a ton of employees. Like, our overhead is sky high. Like, it's ton. It's not like, we see a bunch of patients. We have a lot of locations, but we also have a lot of overhead that goes along with this, and that's by design. It's like, we want to provide a great quality service. We also want to take care of our employees, and we want to make money and be able to, like, that's it. That's it. So all those decisions are rooted from, all the decisions that I make and my dad make, like, are rooted from that belief. Is like, if it doesn't make sense for all those things, we just don't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I see the similarities with me, where it's like, if I continue to take like these small gigs, even though like that same quality of work, I could charge more, and then like they're gonna get the same whether it's cheap or like more. So why? But the stress is the same. So why stress over getting paid less? And why not? And it's not thinking like, it's always hard to like, well, I want more money, but it's like, if I'm gonna be stressing as much, then why not benefit?
It's like 80-20 rule. Like, we're going through one of it right now. Like 80% of our problems are from 20% of this specific thing that we're doing, right? And then vice versa, right? 20% of our patients yield 80% of our results. It's like, dude, I tell my dad this every day. If we get juggling the balance between profitability and patient satisfaction is like, dude, if we wanted to be more profitable, oh my gosh, it would be easy. I'd press a couple buttons and it would go like this. Bing, all of our problems would go away. Well, most of our problems would go away.
Yeah.
Profitability would skyrocket. But reputation, oh, that's another one, reputation. We would have so many patients up in arms, right? But we don't want that. So we try and make decisions throughout these years that balance, and we've pissed a lot of patients off, and a lot of patients. But the thing is, it's not from a place of pure profitability. Yes, profitability is important. Why? Because we want to treat patients well. We want to be able to do the things we want to do and have a life. That's what we all want to do, right? But also too, it's like my dad really values the image and the reputation, the community, and all that. He's been here for 30 years, so it's like it's not like that. So it's a juggling act, and if you kidding me, so. But to your point, like 80-20 rule, it's like, dude, we could make a few decisions that would really clear some things up for us, but we don't. Why? Because my dad's got a great heart. I got a good heart. My dad's got a great heart. He cares about people.
Yeah.
And profitability. I'm all employees, and I think my dad's all patients. Don't get me wrong, my dad's employees as well. But I'm hey, take care of employees. My dad's take care of patients, reputation, brand.
Dang. So last questions I had. We'll talk about that since we're taking pictures of it. So that's a new piece that you got?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Instagram.
In Thailand?
No, I wish. That'd be cool. It's just I got an ad on Instagram.
An ad got you?
Yeah, dude. An ad got me. Bro, I needed a big piece of art, and it worked.
Well, so the ad, how did it get you? It was just like, oh, this is.
Well, I needed a big piece of art, so I was looking on Google, and I wish I knew how to do targeted ads, but I was like, big art, and then like 2 days later, these ads came, and I got the website. I was like, all right, let me find a good one.
So you seen it on Instagram, you were scrolling, and then it popped up on Instagram? Or was it just B-roll footage of the camera, or like, oh, I made this because...
Yeah, it was like B-roll, like, oh, big art. Like, it was like...
Oh, okay. I like that. I never seen... now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, it is pretty big. I'm so used to like...
Yeah.
TV size, just like turn vertical.
I know, with these tall ceilings and this low couch, though, I needed to get something big.
Did the words stick out to you, though, like when you got it? Or it's just the colors?
Yeah. I think... I'm always thinking like, all right, well, shoot, dude, you know me. See,
Thank
man.
you, Kyle.
I'm always like looking. I'm always looking to like switch up. I'm always looking for something new. My brain is like jumps around from thing to thing to thing. So it's like, I think that's a good thing. It's like you could start over right now, and it's like, all right, like.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Luckily, what like controls it a little is I get to work with all these different clients, so I'm kind of already like jumping into different stuff. Mm-hmm. Still doing what I find comfortable and I like doing. It's easy, and also getting into HVAC, automotive, college. So it's like, okay,
it
and
keeps
then
you
interested, and then like I'm not locked in there, because then I can just go work with another client in construction.
It's all new. Yeah.
Or what was your cousin wiring?
Oh, what he does now? Or what?
Yeah. What is it?
He does
power?
telecom, but he got a job at Edison.
Yeah, so like flying a drone, filming that like one day,
Right.
So it's just like the options are unlimited of like what fields that you can be in, which is pretty cool, and that's what like keeps me like okay.
Yeah.
Because I normally get bored of stuff quick.
That's the thing, is like, that's why it's like, don't get me wrong, treating patients is fun. Like, someone comes in looking for help, you're able to help them. Like, those are my favorite, like, clients. Like, they're like, oh, you fix them up. They're like, whoa, oh my gosh. Those are the best, right? But it does get monotonous. A lot of times it's the same thing. It's like, okay, I've seen this. Okay, it starts here, it goes down. Like, I'm like, okay, I know what we got to do. Okay, it may take 1 visit. It may take 3 visits. It may take 4 visits. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing a lot of times. It's like that for me. And that's, I think, the only thing that keeps me sane is being able to really dive deep into the business, and because there's so many facets, because the business is pretty big. So, we got different types of patient, all that. It's like you can dig it in and, okay, I'm doing this today, I'm doing this today. That's what kind of keeps me sane. So then people ask me like, oh, do you like treating patients? Like, yeah, I like treating patients, but it's like, I like doing the other stuff too.
Yeah. So for the insurances, do they come to you for that, or you have to like close them?
No, you.
Or how does that work?
Yeah,
like
you can.
Is it like almost as like in the medical, like a hospital, where okay, we only accept this insurance, but
Yeah. Like we're contracted with this insurance company, so people already have their insurances, and then we can say if we want to get in network with those specific insurances, like Kaiser or Aetna or Blue Cross Blue Shield or Physmetrics or any of these.
Do you guys have like an insurance that you're trying to get to? Like that's almost.
No, if we wanted to, we would just say, hey, we want to get in network. They say, okay, here's our contract, sign it.
And that's where the balance comes in, profitability and.
Yeah. For example, some insurances will pay different rate. Like that one I was saying, it's like, yeah, the patient has a $10 copay, and then the insurance company pays $17, and they only cover one certain thing or this or that. So it's like based on, for example, for us, it's like on how we run our practices determines how we will, like if we'll be in network with a certain insurance company. For example, like we do therapies, we do massage, we do exercise, we do all these stuff. Like if it was just strictly adjusting, okay, we could get in network with a couple more, but it doesn't make sense to get in network with a couple more because okay, we do a couple of different things to where it doesn't make sense, if it was just, so that's kind of like the pros and cons of some of them.
I'm all thinking like they have to come to you like vendors and then woo you guys, here's Chick-fil-A, and hopefully you guys recommend like working with us.
Yeah. It's usually the opposite in chiropractic. It's usually the chiropractor's like, send me patients, I'll take anybody. Oh, you have patients? Okay, I'll sign with you. Yeah. Oh, I'll sign with you. It's usually the opposite. The chiropractors are going back to like where we made a shift back in a couple of years ago, is like we were in network with a couple that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it was getting out of network and kind of valuing our service that really made the shift for us. So
that's pretty cool. So like what's your like the next 5-year goal for you? Or I don't know, how do you do the goals for yourself?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm so sporadic that 5 years is like, I feel like such a long time. But I would say if I had to guess, it would be continuing more of what we're doing. Opening more locations, helping more people, hiring more doctors, hiring more employees, and doing the same thing that we're doing. Because based on I think what we're doing is working. And I know, I think I have a good idea of how to do it and what to do. I think it's just more of the same, honestly. I think it's more of the same.
Okay.
I wish there was something
you're
more
fine.
interesting.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to pick your brain on like how you go about it, or
that's business wise, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm always trying to, like, okay, how could I align it like that with myself and do stuff like that, which, like you were saying, like learn how to, is it allocate or delegate?
Delegate. Yeah.
Learn how to delegate, because right now, like it sounds cool, like, oh yeah, you work with all these clients or multiple, like they're steady, but it's like, how long could you do this? Like eventually you'll get burnt out, and then your performance starts to affect, and then now no one wants to work with you because you're already burnt out. You're like, you don't have that it anymore, and it's because you were just tackling on so much. So right now, like I'm aware of it, and I know, like, of course it just scares you, and I think it just scares any entrepreneur, like beginning business owner.
Right.
So like I'm in that little bubble where it's like,
you're in that kind of realm.
So like you have that physical, like, or mental stuff, and then you have everything, like the environment around you. Now like with family, just more the freaking time change.
Yeah.
And then it's cold.
Dude.
And it's like you're cold, and then like you get out of like your office, if you have an office, or for me, like my new office, like,
yeah,
and it's all dark, and it's like, what am I doing with my life?
Right.
What did I make the right decision? It's like
Bro,
I'm freezing.
I still have those. I have those thoughts as well, man. So you're not alone. I think everybody does, honestly. Everybody has those thoughts.
I'm starting to learn like every business owner, entrepreneur, like they think like that all the time. So it's not
100%.
anything like
100%. I was talking with my buddy when I was in Thailand. You know, we're good buddies. We have real conversations, right? Like, I think that's why we've been able to stay friends for 10 years, and we've only seen each other a couple times. Like, we have real conversations when we do. So, and I was talking with him about it. It's like, dude, like, I always dream. Like, he works remotely. He's got a sweet ass condo in Bangkok. He's got married. He's married. He's like, he's living, but. Okay, I'm by my family. He's not by his family, but he's got a sweet gig here. It's like there's pros and cons of both these things.
Yeah.
Like I envy his position. You know, I'm like, dude, that sounds so cool. Like, I mean, I'm pretty introverted for the most part, honestly. I mean, me and you are buddies, but it's like I'm pretty introverted for the most part. It's like I would love that. Like, just kick it in work for my thing, make my thing, and then okay, the rest of the day I can do what I want with. Like, that's appealing. Then again, too, it's like and then he's talking to me. He's like, dude, I like what you got going on. It's like, it's so...
Yeah, it's always like the grass is greener.
Dude, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like... But I think that's why I think contentment. It's like contentment is important. It's like, but not to where it's like contentment in a good position, right? You don't want to be content in a bad position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, I think that what solves that is like just surrounding yourself with other people like like-minded and like people that are like, what is it, the rule of three? Like people above you, people are the same level, and then people below.
Right.
Like always have that, because then now you can
gauge
like,
in where you're... Yeah.
learn from them, and then teach people with you, and then also teach the people that are under you.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not thinking like that. I just heard rule of three. Someone told me that years ago, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then once you start hearing it more, you're like, oh, okay, now it starts to make sense.
Yeah.
But like, I'm slowly doing that because I educate clients. I'm also getting a lot of people like, how do you make all this content, and how do you do all this? And they don't even know I have a family that I'm raising.
Dude.
So they're like, oh, you're doing all this with the family?
Yeah.
How the hell? Like, you're doing this for yourself, first off, making all this content.
Mm-hmm. Personal brand, yeah, yep.
Then you're making each and every single client that's
all your
almost
clients,
like the same amount. And then having to go home and then be a family and raise the kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to make family content. Like, I always like,
yeah,
that's private. I
that's
don't care
separate,
too much.
Yeah.
I'm not in it to like be famous. Like, I could make a bunch of dad content. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, when you're a girl dad and you're like, I get those ideas and I'm like, no,
No.
it's not
I'm
worth
gonna
it.
stick to what I got.
So I
going.
know, like, okay, there is a balance within me where it's like, you're not fully consumed by trying to be famous or like any of that. Like, that's not the goal for me. Like,
Yeah.
the goal is to build a brand, and I don't even know. Like,
Dude, I couldn't fathom. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We all like. I would like the idea of, okay, you have the followers and this. I don't think I could do that, dude. I couldn't keep up with that. I couldn't like. I enjoy the idea of making content. Like that's why when you say, hey, let's do this. Like, dude, I'll get in front of the camera 100%. But I don't think I have the discipline to like regularly like film and make content. I think a lot of times in my field, if it's like, I feel like I don't like bragging. I don't like bragging. I like kind of like low key, right?
Same.
But I feel like if I were to make content, everything out there is like, what's the catch line? Oh, I have 21 houses and I make this much money a month. I don't want to do that. I don't. And I think that's my only. If I had a sitch, that's my only sitch. I
Yeah.
could do chiropractic content, but I mean, I like to separate myself from chiropractors because I don't necessarily.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I'm fine with
yeah.
low below the radar and just do my thing.
That's. I respect it, definitely.
But again, on the other side of it, it's like, dude, a personal brand is, I think, the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a catch-22.
It is like definitely. I would also, not to defend myself whatsoever, I would say.
And that's not a diss on anybody that makes content.
Of course.
That's not
It's
a diss on anybody that makes content.
It's not. So I'm like, I'll speak from like for myself and like how I see it, where it just depends on how you grow up and like how you were raised. Like if you were able to, again, not a diss for you whatsoever.
No, I know exactly
like
where you're
you
going.
grew up like
100%. Yep.
your dad was.
I'm privileged. 100%.
I wouldn't say privileged. He educated you. He educated and taught you like this is how to do it. So I didn't have that, which I'm not even getting upset about block capitalism.
Dude,
none of that.
I
So,
know
like,
exactly, 100%.
So like I know in my head like I have to sacrifice putting myself out there building this brand so I can make
Right.
something in, because like if I don't, then like I
Yep.
would either work somewhere else that I wouldn't want to. So it's like I know in the back of my head like I have to sacrifice putting myself out there and marketing and do all this stuff to build something. So
Right.
then my kids can learn like, okay, this is how I did it, but you don't have to go down this road. But like this is how to like go around it. Like so same thing like what your dad taught you, like I want to do that for like my kids.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you hit it on the head. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm naive to the fact that I've had, dude. Gosh, I look back. It's like, oh, it's like almost cringeworthy, right? It's like, man, I had it so good. Like, it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
right? But I think I internalized that. It's like I don't want to ride coattails. Like that's why, dude. I'm saying, shoot, paying for chiropractor. Like I paid for school. I started my business. I bought all my dad didn't give me a freaking penny to buy any real estate, right? Now he loans me money and I pay him interest on his money, right? Like that's our deal now. It's like I did not want to ride coattails, and I think that's why I put so much pressure on myself, is that I don't want anybody looking like, oh, you got the handout. Because don't get me wrong, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I was spoiled growing up. Dude, travel ball, all this stuff, yep. But I didn't want that to be like my legacy, and I think that's why I'm still so motivated now. You can ask my dad, you can ask my family. It's like I don't want that, like, and I think anybody that knows me
you
from the
validated,
outside,
yeah.
it probably looks like that, and that's okay. I know that, right? But anybody that knows me, knows my dad, knows the dynamic, I know that they know, and that's okay. I worked for what I got, right? So it's an interesting that this is what goes on in my head, man.
Well, I'm glad I honestly sit down with you. Like, I did not think that we were gonna have this deep of a conversation.
We got deep,
and
that's for sure.
I did enjoy it. I'm like, normally I don't really care to look back at all the episodes, but I'm like, this one I know like there's value in this. Like, and I was really like,
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
goodness,
I'm
like
excited
both
to
of us,
see.
I feel like we were both like on the same, like shoot, like,
Yeah.
having each other.
I know, dude. This is good. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll do more of this.
Yeah, we'll for sure do it again.